Okay, we are going over a recent functional blood chemistry analysis that I did for a beloved client of mine, and she has had incredible transformation, which is why I want to share this with you. So I removed all private personal information about her, but just a little bit of background. 31 years old. She is, working really, really hard. She doesn't have any children as of now. She came to me originally because she was experiencing a lot of different hormonal imbalances. So she was having really painful PMS, irregular menstrual cycles. She was struggling with depression. She wanted to lose weight. She just wasn't feeling that good. She was pretty young. She was 30 when she started working with me, pretty young, and just felt like she should be feeling better. She started feeling old kind of and just low energy, things like that. So we talked and we've been working together, and she's been incredible, taking all of my advice, following everything, mindset, lifestyle, nutrition, everything like that. So I'm going to go over her functional blood chemistry analysis results with you. She did it in January. And it's good to do FBCA every 4 to 6 months. So she did it again just a couple weeks ago in May. So you can see how her results have changed. And the purposes of this video is educational. It's not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure disease. But the cool thing about FBCA is that it's absolutely educational and empowering, because you finally understand what's really going on in your body on a cellular level. So let's dive in here with her. You know about her health problems. I just shared that with you. Her first blood test, she had lower blood sugar. So she was struggling with, feeling hangry, like angry if meals were missed. She was feeling anxious and irritable. She would get lightheaded. She would kind of wake up in the morning with just low energy. So we can see her glucose was low before. And then after she took all of the recommendations into account and has been doing that, her glucose is now normal. So if you haven't done FBCA before, functional blood chemistry analysis, I highly recommend that you do it, and I offer it, of course. The red is what's out of lab ranges. Okay, so you've probably gone to the doctor before and you've gotten blood tests done, and they probably said everything is normal, but if you don't feel normal, then something is out of balance. So that's where FBCA comes in, because it's the functional ranges, right? You see here we got the functional column. You'll notice that functional ranges are more narrow than laboratory ranges. Lab ranges are essentially like a net average, like the average American. Turns out the average American isn't very healthy. So if you're outside of lab ranges, like higher or lower than the average American, then that's when, doctors usually use that to diagnose the disease, right? It's a more serious imbalance. The functional ranges represent functional health. They represent not the average person, but optimum health. So if you're in the green, then awesome, beautiful, perfect, gung-ho, right? So yellow, if she just went to her doctor and got a normal blood test, it would have been like totally fine. It would have been normal to them. But looking at it from the functional medicine perspective, we see that it's starting to be a downward trend. So when you know that, it's great. It's like the yellow light when you're driving, right? The traffic light, it tells you start to slow down. Imagine if it was just green and then red. It was like, oh, I wish I had a warning, right? So that's why my clients love functional blood chemistry analysis. And it's why I'm such a nerd about it too. I love it as well. So with her glucose, I recommended that she eat a protein and a fat every 2 to 3 hours, just a small amount. So it could be, a hard-boiled egg. It could be some nuts. It could be some trail mix. It could be a rice cracker with avocado on it, right? It could be just a little bit of something, but something to keep her blood sugar stable. Everything else is looking pretty normal. Her bun went a little bit low. It could have just been overhydration, but wasn't too much of a concern. Her kidneys looked great to begin with, and they looked great afterwards too, so that was good. It looked like her sodium and potassium, these markers were a little bit high the second time we did it. And the truth is, we're human, right? So I've never seen one completely green. I do mine a few times every year. It's never been completely green. We're human. Things happen, right? But with that said, overall, hers looks way better than it did before, and I'll show you why. But some things changed, right? Like sodium potassium was normal before, and then it was high. So that could be like just signs of dehydration. right? It's being warmer. There's a lot of stress going on globally right now. So maybe she wasn't drinking as much water as she used to before. Her chloride, perfectly beautiful. That improved a lot. Carbon dioxide also improved a lot. And these markers can show like hydration. They can show the electrolytes in the body. They can show gut health, all these different things. For the purposes of this video, I'm just showing you the major overview of what it looks like when somebody gets to functional blood chemistry analysis, how we can compare. And that's so inspiring for people to get those results back and see, wow, like her chloride was lab low, right? So out of laboratory ranges, and then it got back to normal. We did some gut support with her, blood sugar management, overall stress reduction, an anti-inflammatory diet, things like that. Nothing too crazy, right? But just a lot of small healthy changes, and it really make it a big difference. Like look at this, her magnesium and her total protein were low before, and then now they're perfectly fine. Phosphorus a little bit high, which could have to do with having too much vitamin D, which we see down here. I will show you. Her vitamin D was low. It was almost lab low, right? So she did it in January. She lives in a colder climate, doesn't get much sun all throughout the year. So maybe that's why her vitamin D was low. We did a really natural vitamin D supplement that's super effective. As you can see, then it was lab high. It's not a concern though. We just recommended that she back off the vitamin D because it worked, right? She got all the vitamin D, and vitamin D helps your immune system. It helps your hormones. It helps your gut health, all of those things. So perfect. The next time she does her FBCA in 4 to 6 months, it will be in the perfect range. Let's see. So that's probably why that one marker that we were just looking at. Yes, where were we? Oh, the phosphorus, why the phosphorus is a little bit high, just a little bit. Magnesium, protein, all of this is showing better gut health now because I recommended some enzymes for her. Again, an anti-inflammatory diet, which is glass-free, no gluten, lactose like dairy, alcohol, sugar, and soy, or at least reducing those. She decided to jump right in. She went glass-free, really got a lot of amazing results. Beyond just the FBCA, I will say that she had better digestion. She lost weight. She's lost about 21 pounds since January, which is amazing. And I didn't put her on some extreme exercise regime. She just, did a little bit of yoga, some walking, things like that. But when you do everything else, then your body comes back into balance. Your body's intelligent. It can help bring itself back into balance when you give it the nutrients and the support that it needs. She also started having regular menstrual cycles. Just the first month after doing her dietary and lifestyle changes, she had way less cramps. She didn't have to take time off of work. She was overall feeling like more stable mood, which was really big for her. And now she's having regular menstrual cycles. So that's a huge improve. Like she's again having less bloating, she's weight loss, less digestive issues mainly because of the gut support. I gave her some supplements and the anti-inflammatory diet. As we can see here, right, a lot of these markers have come back into the green, which is great. Globulin is still low, but see, it was 2.1, now it's 2.3, which is showing that it's coming in the right direction. 2.4 is the cutoff for optimum health for globulin. So you can see, even though it's still in the yellow, it's much better. So next time she does this in 4 to 6 months, in like September, it'll probably be perfect. Everything is a combination of FBCA results, like your blood test, but also how you're feeling. And she's already feeling so much better. She's had digestive issues for over a decade, and they're not totally gone in 4 months, but they're much, much reduced. She says like 75% less, like less bloating, less cramping, less grumbly tummy noises than she had before. All right, let's see what else. So here again, her LDH, was low before, it's still low now. Some people have a genetic predisposition to having low LDH, which in this scheme of things with her pattern is another sign of low blood sugar. So I showed you earlier that her glucose is in the perfect ranges now. It's not low anymore like it was 4 months ago, but her LDH is still low. So that's telling me that she might just be somebody who's more genetically predisposed to have lower blood sugar, which means that she should just have protein and fat every 2 to 3 hours, maybe for the rest of her life. But we'll keep doing her blood test and keep giving her recommendations, and maybe this will come into the green as well. It is possible. AST, ALT, these are your liver enzymes. Her ALT was high before. It was almost lab high. So again, you're seeing the benefit of FBCA. When it's yellow, it was 31 over 32 for females. 35 is lab high. So that would be more of a sign of serious liver stress or dysfunction. But now it's totally perfect. I did a little bit of a detox support with her. So she got to help cleanse her liver, because your liver does 80% of the detoxification in the body. So she was able to help bring those back into balance. So her liver enzymes look perfect now. GGT is still low, and this is probably a vitamin B6 deficiency. So, one of the things that I'm recommending for her from now on is that she does a little bit more vitamin B6. Like I told you earlier, she doesn't need vitamin D anymore, but it looks like a little bit of vitamin B6. Because when I do FBCA with people, I don't give you a gazillion supplements or a super crazy workout routine or a super restrictive diet or things like that. I do my best to kind of get as many birds with one stone. So we're not going to, give you 50 different things that you need to do, right? That's not sustainable. But oftentimes what happens when we focus on the main things that are out of balance, other areas of your health start to come back into balance, right? Just like I told you with her liver enzymes, we did a little bit of detox support. There was no liver diet or liver supplement that I gave her, but it came back into balance perfectly because your whole body is connected. And that's the benefit of doing your FBCA every 4 to 6 months. We can see, okay, now this is perfect. This is in optimum health. What else needs to be adjusted or changed, right? It's like building a house. You don't put the whole thing up at once. You do the foundation first, and then eventually like the roof way later, right? You put in the furniture later. Alrighty, let's see what else here. So her iron, she had lab low TIBC and UIBC. With iron, all of these are iron markers here. With iron, the main one that's kind of the most important is ferritin, because that's the storage of iron. But we can see that it was starting to go lab low. So she was menstruating a week prior to the blood test, which could have affected this a little bit, or it could be like pre-anemia, right? Like some iron deficiency. So we did a little bit of support with that just by having her eat some more iron in her diet, like more leafy greens, having her have some grass-fed, grass-finished organic beef, things of that nature to improve her iron, and it has been. So her UIBC is now just low. It's not lab low. Her TIBC even dropped a little bit lower. So again, this is good to know. Maybe it has to do with her menstruation before the blood test, but it probably is a sign of more anemia. So we're going to do some iron support with her. And then again, some people are just genetically predisposed to certain things. So the more FBCAs you do, right, every 4 to 6 months, 2 or 3 times a year, then we can start to see maybe this is just a genetic predisposition, which is fine. It's just good to know, that way you can support yourself for the rest of your life so it doesn't become a serious problem. Her serum iron, iron saturation, ferritin were perfect before, they were perfect now. Her cholesterol, her lipid panel, you can see how much this has changed, right? Her cholesterol was lab high. Now it's totally perfectly normal. Her LDL was also lab high. Now it's totally perfectly normal. I get a lot of clients who are concerned about their lipid panel, or they don't want to have to go on medication because they have high cholesterol. Remember, she was 30 years old when she did her first one, so she was very, very young. But we can see, and I didn't do any supplement or anything like that for her cholesterol. She kept eating butter, she kept having eggs, she kept having meat. It's kind of a misnomer that you need to cut those things out to reduce your cholesterol. A lot of it has to do with stress and inflammation in the body and the ability to digest fats. I'll say that one more time, the ability to digest fat. So if you have an inability to digest fat, then it's going to skew your lipid panel. It's going to usually increase your cholesterol. So again, I focus on gut health with her, an anti-inflammatory diet, decreasing stress, some mindfulness techniques, overall a healthier lifestyle, right? Some gentle exercise like we discussed, and her body is starting to come back into balance. So she's having less inflammation overall, as we can see on the cellular level, which is amazing. even so much so that her triglycerides and her HDL kind of came down a little bit too, which isn't too much of a concern. You know, what I just recommended for her is just a little bit of exercise still is fine, and just being more mindful, like with her food choices. So this is totally fine. It'll probably come right back into normal. But that was a huge, huge improvement that she was really, really happy about. Homocysteine was high at 8.3. It reduced to 7.1. Optimal ranges is 0 to 7. So she's right on the cusp there. Homocysteine being lab high is a sign of poor methylation, which is kind of like the expression of your genes. And if you have high homocysteine, you tend to feel like you have a hangover, like headaches, migraines, brain fog, achy, sores and pains, mood swings, irritability, depression. So a lot of people have high homocysteine and they don't know that they do. But honestly, depending on what the rest of your blood says, usually just like 1 or 2 supplements, a little bit of a lifestyle change can bring that back into balance. So for her, I recommended a broad spectrum B vitamin, and it really clearly did the trick in just 4 months. Her TSH, one of your main thyroid markers. Your thyroid is this beautiful butterfly-shaped gland in your neck area. Her thyroid was low. Boom, perfectly normal. Did no thyroid supplement or anything like that. Just the rest of the body coming back into balance. So overall with her, like I said before, we really focused on gut health and digestion, less stress, less inflammation, a healthy diet. And her T3 was also low, totally normal later. So 4 months later, which is a great, great improvement. We talked about the vitamin D. It definitely worked. She came back and she will ease back into the perfect range there. What else? Red blood cell count was high before, a sign of dehydration, now totally normal. Her hemoglobin was low before, still low, which is probably connected to her anemia, right? We saw that up here in her iron panel. She still looks like maybe it's a genetic predisposition to be anemic, or we need to do a little bit more iron support. It's probably time, because before I just had her eat more iron-rich foods, probably time to give her a little bit of iron in a supplement. So that could be why her hemoglobin is still low. The rest of her red blood cell markers look great, and all of her infection markers. It looked like she had an infection. Her eosinophils were high. She went on an international trip last year. So, you know, she could have gotten some sort of infection, or just almost everybody has some type of infection, and especially right now, people want really strong immune systems. But we did a little bit of infection support, and then boom, perfect. Looks like the infection is gone. Her immune system looks like it's really, really strong now. So that's the overview. I did that very quickly. When I was talking with her, I went through it in detail, but it's really cool to see how lifestyle and dietary changes can totally drastically improve your health in 4 months. And she started feeling a lot better just 1 month into it, but you can see in your symptoms, and then you can also see in your blood test how things are improving, right? In her second blood test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she had 5 markers that were out of range, lab high out of range in her first blood test, and then just 2 in her second blood test, which is a huge improvement. And so many markers that were in the yellow the first go around transferred over into the green, which means better optimum health overall. So anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it helped you to understand the benefits of functional blood chemistry analysis and why we love it. I'm head over heels. This is what changed my life. I was struggling with health issues and trying all these different things on my own and working with different people. And finally, I invested in a holistic nutritionist and started working with her. She did my blood test. She put it on paper in front of my eyes. I got to see exactly what was out of balance and what my body needed, because I'm a unique individual, just are you. So go ahead and check this out. If you found this video helpful, please comment below, leave a little heart or a thumbs up. Let me know that you found it beneficial. And you'll see in this video, there's 2 links. There's one link to book a free call with me. If you'd like to learn more about FBCA, if you're interested in getting your own FBCA, if you just have any health questions, I'm happy to help you. So you can click that link and book a free call with me. And the second link is to my website. So you can read more about functional blood chemistry analysis, and you can check it out for yourself because it is amazing. We love it, and it's truly, truly transformational. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.